Welcome, lover. I'm the Naughtie Scribe, author, businesswoman, and your host for the next hour. This live stream is dedicated to love, sex, acceptance, and understanding the lifestyle and ultimate sensuality. Trust me, lover, the knowledge I drop will be straight, no chaser. So sit back and prepare yourself. It's about to get naughty.
Welcome, lovers. This is the Naughty Scribe, and once again, you're back on the Nice and Naughty Hour. Now, tonight, we're going to wrap up a little bit from our consent versus assault show from last night. But tonight's show is primarily going to be about playmates, fuck buddies, friends with benefits. Is there a difference, and does it matter? And you'll be surprised at what some of you did on Facebook, and as well as what some of you let me know about on my Survey Monkey survey. And I love, 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 love my audience because you guys are really pitching in and answering the survey. It's only one fucking question, but it helps me get a good gauge at what you're thinking on each topic. Now, before we get into our what the fuck moment, I just want to real quick wrap up on a couple of topics from last week. In consent versus assault, we talked about primarily about Donald Trump and his now 9 women who have come out to say, fuck yeah, he did sexually assault me. But we also have breaking news on Derrick Rose. The verdict came in on his case and he was acquitted. Yes, lovers, he and his 2 boys were acquitted of having gang raped his sexual associate. The jury did not find that there was enough evidence to convict these gentlemen, nor did they find her testimony believable. One juror even reportedly said that it seemed like she could turn on the tears on a dime. Basically, that she was performing to make an impact on the jury. So we're going to jump real quick into my gallery of rogues, which you can see up front. What the fuck? So here we go with our what the fuck moment, people. As I said, breaking news. Derrick Rose was acquitted. Can we get my gallery back up, guys? Because I'm going to run through all of them real quick. So Derrick Rose was acquitted today of rape. Him and his boys were acquitted of rape today in his $21.5 million lawsuit. Donald Trump currently has 9 females now who have accused him of sexual assault, one of which was a reporter who did contemporaneously tell family members and friends what happened, so she's been corroborated. But let's run into a few others. We have actor, activist, and comedian Bill Cosby, accused of drugging approximately 27 women. He's on trial for the latest. He will be going on trial for the latest one. Breaking news with him. His trial has been set for June 5th, 2017. Again, Bill Cosby has been accused of drugging and sexually assaulting women, over 27 women. He's going to trial on the latest one, June 5th, 2017. We also have writer and director of Birth of a Nation, Nate Parker. He was charged with rape in 1999, acquitted in 2001. His accuser committed suicide in 2012. Then we have Sean Kingston, singer, songwriter. He was charged with rape in 2010. His case was dropped because the accuser was found not to be credible. And of all people, rounding out the last 2, rounding out my rogues gallery, Al Gore. Yes, Mr. Inconvenient Truth, former vice president, former presidential candidate, Democrat Al Gore was accused of sexual abuse by an Oregon woman. Her case was dropped when she failed to pass a polygraph test, okay? And last but not least, some of you who are of age, meaning closer to my age, remember this really popular show called Seventh Heaven. The father was a pastor. Well, the pastor was played by actor Stephen Collins. Stephen Collins in 2014 was caught on tape by his wife admitting to sexual molestation of children. He has since given testimony to that, and we don't know what's going on legally with that, but he was busted by his wife on tape confessing to having sexually molested minor children. So these are my rogues gallery of individuals who have of late been in the news for, again, sexual assault. So we can drop that now, guys. Um, so this was what we were wrapping up from last week. Can I get the camera back? Thanks. So this is what we were wrapping up from last week, and it all boils down to consent. So remember, lovers, consent is not is there's not one standard for consent, but there are three factors that determine whether or not consent was given. One is freely given consent, meaning there was no blackmail, no coercion, no trickery, no misleading information that got that person to have sex. They fully knew what was going to go on and they were fully on board with it. The next factor is affirmative consent, meaning it wasn't wishy-washy, it wasn't a maybe, it wasn't I don't know, wink wink, come make me do it. It means fuck yes, come tap this ass. If it's not an affirmative without question, yes, come do this, it's not considered consent. Last but not least, which was the case in the Derrick Rose trial, capacity to consent, meaning I'm not under the influence of drugs, I'm not under the influence of alcohol, that I am of sound mind, that I am mature enough intellectually and emotionally to give that consent. What does that mean? It means that minors are considered by definition not to be intellectually or emotionally mature enough to give consent. So if the law says that 15 is a minor, because unfortunately in some states it's considered an adult, but if the law says that 12, 15, 16 is a minor, guess what, boo-boo? You got to wait for 17, 18, 19, or else you can be charged with statutory rape. You could be registered as a sex offender, and you can fuck up the rest of your life. So again, let's make sure that the consent is freely given, that it is a clear consent, and that there is no drugs, no alcohol involved when the consent is given, meaning that she has full capacity or he has full capacity to give consent. So that's going to wrap up our segment from last show. Okay, so before we go to our next break, I'm going to give a rundown of tonight's show. We're going to talk about playmates, fuck buddies, and friends with benefits. We're going to do a reminder of our rap contest. So lovers, don't forget, if you sing, if you write songs, if you're a rapper, send in your entries. The best ones are going to be featured on the show, and the grand prize winner will get a 5-hour studio block of recording time from Listen Vision Live. So remember, there is a 5-hour studio time. That's a lot of fucking money that you're going to get the benefit of for free, but donated by Listen Vision Live for entering the contest. So we need to get those entries in. And yes, lovers, they can be as raunchy, as suggestive, or as loving and intimate as they can, but remember, they got to reflect nice and naughty. Okay, all right. Also, we're going to give the results of our Survey Monkey quiz, and I'm going to get into our patron saint, Miss Maria Mama Bear Hicks, and what she thought of tonight's question. So without further ado, we're going to do a quick break, and I'll be back in one. Thank you. Welcome back, lovers. I'm the Naughty Scribe, and this is the Nyce and Naughty Hour. So let's jump into our Getting It In segment. Okay, lovers. So when I put this question up on Facebook, our patron saint, Miss Maria Mama Bear Hicks, hey boo, mwah, had this statement. She said, sometimes you say, forget the relationship and just give me one good back cracking friend. Okay, love it. Back cracking friend. We know what you mean. But here's the thing, lovers. A relationship is just that, whether it's a casual relationship or it's a down the aisle type of relationship. What you have to understand is what type of relationship works for you, what type of relationship works for him or her, depending on your preference, and that you stick to the ground rules, that you understand first and foremost what the fuck the ground rules are. So we're not going to talk about scene play because some of these terms have a slightly different meaning when you're in a BDSM, which is bondage and sadomasochism, basically dominance play. And when you're in a swing scene, some of these terms have a slightly different meaning, okay? We're going to talk about the broader sense of these terms as alternate relationships. And that means fuck buddies, that means friends with benefits, and that means playmates. There are differences in these relationships, and these terms get bounced around too much. And one of the issues that Derrick Rose had, and it was brought out in his trial, is that he thought he had a fuck buddy. She thought they were in a relationship. When you're not playing on the same with the same ground rules, confusion can come up quickly. And when confusion comes up, so does a whole lot of drama and bullshit that you just didn't need, okay? So we're going to just go over real quickly what some of these terms mean, okay? And then we're going to really dive into it. Okay, for instance, a fuck buddy. We're going to go from the least committed to the most committed of an alternate relationship, okay? Now, I'm not talking about girlfriend and boyfriend. I'm not talking about live-in lovers. I'm not talking about common law husband and wifey or wifey and husband and husband. I'm not talking about a full-blown marriage. I'm talking about a step under that, okay? What we call alternate relationships. And why do people have alternate relationships? Mama Bear put it best. Sometimes you just want to say fuck the relationship part. You either got out of bad relationship or marriage, you haven't found that right person for you, or you're like me, you just love being single. It's not a bad thing. You don't have to be lonely just because you're alone. I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of lovers, but I have a lot of freedom too. And one of the things that you do kind of give up in a relationship, a serious relationship, is some of your freedom, because you do have somebody you report into. It's willingly, it's lovingly, because you want to understand where each other is coming from. But when you're in an alternate relationship, one of the best things about it is you do not fucking give up your freedom. You can have your cake and eat it too, but you have to also be very clear on what the fuck that cake is, okay? So let's get started with fuck buddies. A fuck buddy is someone that you just have sex with. Let me be clear, lovers. A fuck buddy is not a friend. A fuck buddy is not a playmate. A fuck buddy is, or some guys like to call it a booty call, it's the same thing. A fuck buddy is that person that when you're climbing the walls, them rosy palms ain't working for you, that vibrator ain't hitting the right spot tonight. A fuck buddy is that person that you have on speed dial, that you can say, hey boo, I need to scratch this itch. I need to get off. You available? Yeah, cool. You bounce over, you get it in, you get off, you get out. That's it. That's all a fuck buddy is. They don't spend the night. You don't have breakfast together. You don't want to know their problems. They damn sure don't want to know yours. It's all about me having enough information to know that you're safe and sane enough for me to fuck on a regular basis. You don't get to meet my family. I don't get to meet yours. You are not a part of my life. That is what a fuck buddy is. A fuck buddy takes the pressure off when you're climbing the walls. Okay? That's a fuck buddy. Okay? Where you guys cause a problem, and we're going to kind of get into this on the next segment, is where you start making things a little too comfortable. The lines get blurred, and then people start thinking that the situation is more serious than it is. Then when it comes out that, no, honey, you're really just a piece of dick, or no, honey, you know, you're just a piece of warm ass. People's feelings get hurt. They get to acting foolish. and it wasn't worth it. Because one thing you have to do, and we're going to touch on this repeatedly, is when you're in an alternate relationship, the number one most important thing is not the sex, it's not the looks, it's not the weight, it's not even where you hook up. It is being brutally honest. Not honest, brutally honest. When I mean brutally honest, I mean, I like the way you look, I like that fat ass, but your personality is not the kind I want to be with 24/7, but I still want to tap that ass. That's brutally honest. Okay, brutally honest is, hey baby, you're a little on the thick side for me. You got a little bit of a balding patch. You know, you ain't driving the right car, but that dick worked for me, so we can keep it on that level. That's brutally honest. Okay, there is no confusion, therefore, that you are not my man. I'm not your woman. We are taking care of business. Period. Okay. And as long as you are knocking the walls out like you're supposed to, as long as you're pounding it out, as long as I'm draining them balls like I'm supposed to, we're cool. But don't get caught up in your feelings. Don't call me when you need help with the mortgage. Don't call me because your baby mama is on your ass about you missing a payment and you between paychecks. That ain't my problem. All I want is a little stiff dick. Get me over the hump. Okay, but we're going to get more into that later. But just to be clear, a fuck buddy is just that. Somebody you fuck and bounce. That's it. A step above that, a little more complicated, but not that much complicated, is a playmate. A playmate is exactly what the fuck it sounds like. A playmate is somebody that you know casually. They're not really a friend, but you kind of hang out with them sometimes, like in groups. But on the side, you are getting some ass. Here's a typical scenario of where a playmate comes in. You and your lady having a dinner at your house. I invite my girls, you invite your boys. Everybody's having a good time. One of my boys is kind of feeling one of your girls. He's maybe in a relationship or not. She's not looking for anything serious, but to kind of cute and there's some physical chemistry going on. Well, you guys keep going bowling. You keep coming out. They're, hey, cool, whatnot. Everybody's yang yang, happy to see each other, small talk, whatever. You know, house looks nice, food's good, or what's been going on with you since the last time I saw you. That's the public persona, because playmates, by definition, don't want people in their shit. Later that evening, we might hook up and be really tearing it up like we both just got out of prison from doing a 25-year stretch, and you the first piece of ass or dick I done seen. Okay? We might be knocking it out like that, but we don't bring that to the group. We don't even see each other that much. So a playmate is just that. It's a casual acquaintanceship that you also have a casual sexual relationship with. It ain't even on a regular. You can have a playmate that you see on a regular basis, meaning fuck on a regular basis, but you don't hang out but once in a while. Okay? That's still a playmate, okay? That's not a fuck buddy. That's a playmate. Playmate, you do shit with. Playmate, you do hang out with occasionally. But remember, it's not a serious thing. It's very casual. It's very open. It's by no means monogamous, okay? Then you have the friends with benefits. Now, that one is where we get a lot of confusion, okay? A friend with benefit is just that, a friend. They are someone that matters to you. They are someone that has a big part of your life. They're the person that knows your dirt. They're the person that has been there when you've been crying and boo-hooing. They're the person that rode with you when you bust out this motherfucker's windows and gave you an alibi when the cops came over. That's a friend. You just happen to be getting a little something extra from this friend on occasion, and that's the fucking. Okay, so a friend with benefit is somebody you care about, is somebody that's a part of your life, is someone that knows your people, okay, and you're tapping it on the side, okay. A friend with benefit gets a little confusing sometimes because some of the best husbands and wives or partners, some of the best relationships that you can have started as a friend with benefits. You were friends first. You wanted to see what the sex would be like. That worked, but you held on to the friendship. And through that, a relationship developed. So of all three of the main alternate relationships, fuck buddies, playmates and friends with benefits. Friends with benefits is the one that has the most likelihood to turn into a relationship. And if you talk to some individuals who've been married for years and years, like some of my friends, they'll tell you point blank, oh, we were friends first. We didn't even see each other that way. Then one night, you know, one thing led to another. We ended up in bed and realized sexually we enjoyed each other too, and it just progressed from there. That's friends with benefits. And there's nothing wrong with being a fuck buddy. There's nothing wrong with being a friend with benefits. There's nothing wrong with being a playmate. The problem comes in when you're confusing one for another and you're doing things that skew the line between an alternate or casual relationship with a traditional, full-blown, long-term, maybe we can go down the aisle kind of relationship. That's where people get caught up in their feelings, and that's when a whole lot of bullshit happens that doesn't need to. So that's what we're going to spend a lot of time talking about. Now, when I put up my one question quiz on SurveyMonkey, I asked friends with benefits, playmates, fuck buddies, is there a difference and does it matter? And I'm going to tell you, as usual, lovers, you guys blow me away. 9% of you that took the survey said it was no big deal. That basically it's not a big deal if you have an alternate relationship. Mwah, love you. 27% of you said there's no difference between a playmate, a fuck buddy, or friend with benefit. For you 27%, we gonna have a talk tonight. Y'all need to really be watching the show, okay? I know the debate's on, because trust me, I'm TiVoing that shit too, because I listen to some dumb shit. But hey, Hillary, mwah, love that zinger you gave him about being Putin's puppet. Just saying. Y'all know I'm a political junkie, so I had to get that out there. But that being said, let's get back on topic. 27% of you said there was no difference. Yeah, fuck there is, and we're going to get in more detail about that in a little bit. But the majority of you, 63%, more than half of you, said not only was there the difference, there was a significant difference. And that tells me that that's probably a lot of my people like Vox, like Aria Noir, like my Zamji, my other alternate groups out there and family who know the difference because we live that lifestyle. And it's also a lot of players out there saying, fuck yeah, we know there's a difference, and that's so that we don't get caught up in some major drama that don't need to be happening. So we're a little early, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's get into our next break, and then I can spend more time talking to you about the differences and the do's and don'ts of alternate relationships, okay? So let's go into that break. Thank you. It is today because I got my clock in front of me. I was a little over last week, but see, I'm so used to Welcome back, lovers. I'm the Naughty Scribe, and yes, you are on the Nyce and Naughty Hour. So, as a recap, this show tonight is about playmates, fuck buddies, and friends with benefits. And just a recap on that. A fuck buddy is someone that you only have sex with. They're not a major part of your life. They're not really any part of your life, except that when you need a little relief, a little stress reliever, and we all need that with the times we're living in, okay? Sometimes we just need to get off without getting into a relationship. You have a reliable, safe, sane, and clean, and I mean health-wise, you have to be careful about that. Alternate relationship is not an excuse to get sloppy, okay? Wrap it up, okay? But that being said, a fuck buddy is just somebody that I have sex with and I'm out the door, okay? Remember, get it in, get off, get out. That's a fuck buddy. A playmate is someone you have a casual acquaintanceship with. They're not a friend. They're not your bestie. You're friends forever. None of that shit. There's someone that you associate with, most likely in a group, that you have an attraction to, and on the side you have sex with. It's not something that you advertise the whole group. Most times playmates keep their lives separate. They have their play side, which is with you and your boys and your girls, or the group you hang out with, and then on the down low, we get a little something in. Again, it's not necessarily on a regular basis. It's a very casual relationship on both sides. Then you have your friends with benefits. Friends with benefits is just that. It's a friendship first and foremost, that a sexual relationship developed. And then a lot of times, yes, if the friendship is strong and the sex is good, let's be honest, okay, you go from there into a relationship, because a lot of serious relationships, a lot of strong marriages started with the couple being friends, and then it became friends with benefits, and then it developed into a serious monogamous relationship. Now, I want to backtrack just for a hot second. When I brought up this topic to my group, and yes, there's a few people that I brainstormed with about what I want to talk to you about. When we decided to do this topic tonight, it was kind of funny how negative certain individuals are about an alternate relationship. And here's the thing that kind of, I guess in a way, pleasantly surprised me, was that more women thought it was okay to have an alternate relationship than men did. Now, let me explain this, lovers. In 2016, and we kind of touched on it last week, but in 2016, we're still living in a society where if a woman is in command of her sexuality, she's either a dyke, desperate, or she's scorned, and therefore she says she hasn't had a really good man in her life, she has to settle for this. Where women look at it and said, oh, wait a minute, bet I can get dick on demand and still have my life? Yeah, you can have dick on demand, okay? It's nothing wrong with that. Guys, it's okay if she's pocket pussy. And pocket pussy is just what it sounds like. It's a fuck buddy, or another term for fuck buddy, but all it is somebody you pull out your pocket, that number out your pocket, dial it, get off, do what you got to do, and you're gone until the next time. I am amazed. My daughter is 29 years old. My son's 25. I'm out and open. My whole family knows, so it's no secret. That's why I can do this without being blackmailed. Yay. Even people on my job watch this fucking show. So, hey, guys. But the funny thing about it is, when I told my kids what I was going to be talking about tonight, they thought it was funny as hell that this was even an issue. And I'm like, okay, that's that generational thing. Because here's the thing. Our younger generation are a lot more tolerant of shit that the older generation still holds on to certain conventions and traditions. Now, I'm not saying holding on to conventions and traditions are wrong. In fact, they're the basis of a lot of our culture. Some good, some bad. But let's be honest, there's some shit we could evolve on, okay? And one of them is alternate sexuality. I am of the belief and of the practice that as long as they are of age, as long as everyone is consenting, fully consenting, okay, and that you're not causing harm, whether it be physical, emotional, or otherwise to the other person, how you get off or what works for you is okay. Because let me tell you something, my lifestyle does not work for a whole lot of people. But there's a lot more people that it does work for, and there's different variations on it. So, ladies, guys, if you are not relationship type, and let's be honest, one of the first things about being in an alternate relationship, or involving yourself in alternate sensuality for that matter, is knowing you first and foremost. If there's any question about whether or not you're capable of dealing with certain things, you don't jump in that lane. For instance, fuck buddy situation. Ladies, do not let this motherfucker mark territory if all he is a fuck buddy. And I'm going to tell you what marking territory is. Two of y'all banging it out, having fun. You tell him, hey, 3 o'clock, you got to go. He don't give you no issues about that. Then one particular night, y'all knocking it out, same as usual. He's extra good, as a matter of fact. And instead of getting his ass up, at 2:45 so he can get cleaned up and be out the door by 3, he rolls over and gets comfortable under the covers. Okay, you're like, hey babe, you know it's almost 3 o'clock. You gotta go. If he starts giving you shit about, damn, I've been fucking you for 4 hours. I need a little rest. Can a man get some sleep? No, that's not what you were here for. You were here to fuck me for those 4 hours, just like I fucked you for those 4 hours. Now your job's over. It's time to go. When they start giving you shit about leaving, it's time to interview a new candidate. Okay. When they come over at 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing they got to go to work at 5 o'clock, this motherfucker normally comes over with nothing more than condoms, his wallet, and cell phone. Now, all of a sudden, he shows up with a duffel bag talking about, well, yeah, I thought I'd stay over, get showered up, and I'll bounce the next day in a few hours. No. That's him marking territory. That's him letting you know very subtly, hey, look, this is kind of like my crib. This is like my second place to hang out. When he says, hey, or she, because remember, we're equal opportunity offenders here. If she or he starts leaving shit there, like, it don't make sense for me to keep bringing an overnight bag. I'm just going to leave my shoes, quick change of clothes. No, that's marking territory. Again, don't let that shit happen. A fuck buddy is just that. Somebody you fucking and you getting out. Fuck, I'm gonna tell you something, ladies. You can always tell whether you want to admit it to yourself or not that when you are dealing with a fuck buddy situation with your man in particular, because this motherfucker don't even leave the condom. He will wrap that shit up, put it in a plastic bag, and dump it on his way out the door. That's how much he doesn't want to have any evidence that he's fucking you. He doesn't even want an excuse to come back until it's time to get it in next time. Ladies, you know how we're always leaving an earring here or sometimes leaving a bracelet there and, oh, damn, I left that at my boo's house. I got to go back and get it. We will go CSI on your ass to make sure we ain't leave even a strand of hair at your place when we leave. That's a fuck buddy. When you start leaving shit there, when you start making it convenient, when you start bringing your Snapple and leaving it in my refrigerator because that's what you drink and you just don't feel like bringing it with you, that's marking territory. That's saying that this is my space and here's proof that this is my space. That's when the lines start getting blurred because it's a slippery slope from leaving your shoes under my bed to getting pissed off because there's another motherfucker with his shoes under my bed that does pay my rent, okay? So let's be clear. When it's a fuck buddy situation, there is no marking territory. Don't let the lines blur. When you're playmates, part of being playmates is that you keep your fucking separate from your hanging out. You might hang out with a group. Everybody might know that you're fucking. That's okay. You just don't advertise that because when you invite people to know that you're playmates, you're inviting their opinion into your relationship. And yes, ladies, I'm specifically talking to you. That's when the whispering starts. That's when you start, girl, he was fucking this one last week. Girl, he hit up on me yesterday. How could you be tapping that ass? Here's how I can be tapping that ass or letting him pound it out. He ain't my man. He is a casual acquaintance that I enjoy fucking. That's it. Okay, so I don't give a damn who he's fucking on the side. I don't give a damn if he's banging out every woman in a group. As long as he makes sure he makes my rotation, we're good to go. Okay, so don't get it twisted. A playmate situation is on the down low or private by nature. It is compartmentalized. And I'm going to tell you something. This is something I absolutely give my guys props on. Because, guys, y'all know how to keep your piece of ass separate from the woman you love. Not saying that you got to have both. Sometimes you do. I ain't making no judgment on that. But I'm saying that if you're dealing with a female and all she is to you is a playmate or fuck buddy, you stick to that shit. You don't get confused on that. Now, that's most of the time. Because here's the disclaimer. Guys, yes, I'm getting ready to get in your shit. When the pussy's good, and the dick is throbbing, and yes, you didn't realize that men can have multiple orgasms, because you do. I know for a fact. But when you guys get that first double, or you make that bitch noise after she done swallowed you down hard and shit, you start thinking about, well, you know what? I might want to hold on to this. Only problem is, just because now the rules need to be flexible for you to flow with, don't mean that I necessarily am going along with that. I don't want you as my playmate, or I want you as a playmate, but not my friends with bennies. Basically, the situation that you and I started with is a situation I'm comfortable with. That's when you become stalkers. That's when you pick me up from work one day and they find bits and pieces of me all over National Park 2 months later because you done wanted to change the rules. I wanted to stick to the rules. And ladies, this is the shit that you do. You're not honest about the fact that I want to stick to the rules. You hem and haw and equivocate. And because you don't openly or outwardly say, affirmatively say, fuck no, this is not what I signed up for. I'm not interested in it. That's when he goes ballistic or she goes ballistic and somebody's catching a charge or ends up missing. So again, you have to be brutally honest when you're in these relationships. Friends with benefits. It's a friendship first and foremost. And here's the best thing about being a friend with benefit. If you are truly friends and the fucking part isn't working or is becoming complicated, that's the part that drops away. The friendship stays. Unlike the other ones, if some part isn't working, the whole thing is out the window. A friends with benefits is a true relationship. It's friendship first and foremost. And there is an understanding and an agreement that, hey, if being lovers doesn't work out, we want to hold on to being friends. Sometimes you've had sex with your friend and you decide, you know what, even though the sex was good, it was still kind of weird and I just don't want to do anything that jeopardizes us being cool with one another. So you willingly let go of the benefits part. So again, friends with benefits is that. First and foremost, it is a friendship. So I'm going to start running down some of the flags on the play. We touched on a few, but let's go through them all. Okay, thank you, baby. Okay, don't fuck up the rules. If the two of you are going to be in an alternate relationship, whether it's friends with benefits, whether it's playmates, whether it's fuck buddies, understand what the rules are for you. And what I mean by that is if it's just a sexual thing, meaning you're just fuck buddies, be honest with each other. That's all it is. But then stick to that. If something's going on in my life, I don't pick up the phone and call my fuck buddy to boo-hoo on their shoulder. If I just got into a car accident or some bitch busts out my windows, guys, you don't call me to ask if I can help you out until payday. That's not what fuck buddies do. You take care of business and that's it. So if know the relationship, because we went over this several times now, what relationship you're in and stick to the fucking rules. But you have to be, and this is my next one, you have to be brutally honest with each other about what you're getting into. When you're in an alternate relationship or any relationship, quite frankly, it's not just communication that matters. It's honesty that matters. I don't mean that you have to say everything that's on your mind, okay? You still need to have some diplomacy about you. But what I'm talking about is if this is the type of relationship that you're into, or if this is what you're looking for, but this person is looking for Prince Charming, it's not going to work. And that gets me back to another one of our little rules, playing with people's feelings, okay? And I'm just going to put it out there, point blank, especially to you fellas in particular, because y'all have a tendency to do this just for the fuck of it, okay? If I'm a playmate, especially if I'm a playmate or if I am a fuck buddy, because you don't seem to do it too much with friends with benefits, because guess what? You still want that friendship, so you're a little more honest on that end. But when you have a fuck buddy situation or playmate situation and you start telling me how much I mean to you, how much you care about me, you start making noises about, maybe something could develop, let's take our time and see how it goes. If you're just telling me that shit because you're feeling bad about us being fuck buddies or playmates, you are skewing the lines for me. The last thing you ever want to do with a female, and guys, I need you to hear me clearly. The last thing you ever want to do with a female is give her false hope, because a woman will hold on to hope like a pit bull with a throat, okay? We don't let that shit go. In fact, we will sometimes excuse bullshit because in our mind is that hope that we will work this shit out and that we can make it work together. If you know damn well that that is not the scenario that you're into, that that is not something that you're even contemplating, don't fuck with people's feelings. Ladies, I'm time for me to get in your shit. If you know this motherfucker is catching feelings for you, but you don't have them for him, be honest about it. You don't have to be nasty, but you do need to be brutally honest about it. Because I'm telling you, when you fuck with a man's heart, you're not just fucking with his feelings, you're fucking with his sense of manhood and his pride. And one thing a man will do, he will do some outlandish shit to establish he's a man. You're not taking his manhood away from him. Fuck with his feelings, make him look stupid, make him look weak, especially in front of his boys. Your ass has something that needs to be addressed, and trust and believe he will do that. So again, be honest with each other. Don't play with each other's feelings. That's first and foremost. Be honest about what you're into, what you're not into, what you want and what you don't want. If that person is not with you on that, then that's not the playmate or the fuck buddy for you. It's just that simple. And it's okay if they're not. It just means that you need to keep looking until you find somebody that is. It's a lot less stress and a lot less drama to deal with somebody who's on the same page as you are, as opposed to fucking around, being misleading, playing games on someone you're trying to get there, and then it blows up in your face. Okay, so remember, stick to the ground rules. Another thing, don't make it more serious than it is. If it's a fuck buddy or playmate relationship, that's all it is. It's a little something extra on the side. It was never meant to be a serious relationship. It's a little different with friends with benefits because that does have a potential to develop into one. But again, even in that situation, it has to be mutual understanding that, hey, we're reaching a point in this relationship with each other that I'm kind of interested, or I'm willing to see if it can develop into something else. Okay, so you need to be honest about that. But hey, again, if one person is feeling you and another one isn't, be honest about that. Because ladies, I'm gonna tell you something. The second a man says to you, oh, that's all it was, that's a hint and a half for your ass that he done caught feelings and that he's rolling down a road you may not necessarily be with. Guys, if she starts making noise about, well, where do you see us in the next couple of years or so, pump your brake. This bitch has already done got the wedding dress and planning the ceremony. That's when your ass needs to make it real clear, boo, this was just about having some fun. This was a casual thing. You knew this when we got involved. Now, I'm not saying fuck with her feelings, because this is what I'm talking about. Don't say, oh, you know what, that wedding dress really looked nice on you, because what I'm hearing is, ooh, down the road, I'm going to be wearing that. Okay? Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Freeze is laughing at me, but he knows I'm telling the truth, okay? If you want to give her a compliment, pull out that skanky Frederica Hollywood magazine and say, damn, boo, your ass will look good in them thongs. That's honest, okay? But don't fill up each other's head with unnecessary shit. Also, understand by nature, and ladies, I'm really addressing this to your asses. Understand by nature, an alternate relationship is just that. Fuck buddies, playmates, even friends with benefits. There's one main thing you need to understand. Not any of that shit is monogamous. It is not exclusive. You can have, if you have a fuck buddy, you damn sure ain't being monogamous. That's a maintenance man or a maintenance woman. That's somebody just taking the edge off until you can get with the one you want to get with, or you just don't have anyone, or they're convenient, okay? And it's a mutual convenience. I'm not dissing either one. This is mutual combat of the sexual kind. Everybody's on board with that. But by nature, none of these alternate relationships that I just talked about are monogamous. Not one of them. So you can't get yourself caught up in your feelings. You can't get upset that somebody that you just swallowed last night, you run into it the safe way and he's with his boo. And he's all up on her, all into her. He sees you, give you a nice little acknowledge and nod, and he keeps on going. You're not the wifey. You're not the girlfriend. You're not the significant other. This is an alternate relationship, and by nature, an alternate relationship is not monogamous. So ladies, especially you, because we do have a tendency sometimes to associate good sex with love as an expression of love, because for us, a lot of times that's what it is. But let's be honest, when you're a grown-ass woman, we just like men, we compartmentalize that shit too. Getting off is not the same thing as being in love, okay? One can help out the other, but there is a difference, and sometimes it's really good to understand that. If you're the type of person that cannot be in a sexual relationship without attaching feelings to it, if it can't be just a good fuck, none of these relationships work for you. Pump your brakes, wait for the right one to come along, and then spend some serious ass time getting to know each other and make sure it's the right thing before you even think about bouncing on that lap, okay? Next thing, no hooking up with family members, and I'm specifically talking about playmates and fuck buddies. Friendships, friends with benefits, again, you are already friends. So you already met the family, you're already down with some of my boys, some of my girls. So that's not particularly the one I'm talking about. But playmates and fuck buddies, again, these are ultra casual relationships. You do not invite them into your family life, your friend life, your work life. You just don't do that kind of thing, okay? Because it blurs the lines as to the boundaries of the relationship, okay? Um, Last but not least, we talked about it briefly, but it bears repeating again. Be honest with each other, and most importantly, be honest with yourself. If you're the type of person like me who enjoys your own company, who can literally jump in the car and take yourself to a casino, to a party, to an event, have a great time, socialize with 101 people, go home, get in your bed by yourself and think, damn, I had a great time, and you don't bust out in tears because you came home by yourself, that's somebody who's strong in themselves, who loves themselves and loves their freedom. So it's okay to have an altered relationship. If on the flip side of that, you don't feel complete unless you have a significant other by your side, if you feel that that partially defines who you are, alternate relationships are not for you. In fact, it's a disaster waiting to happen, because in an alternate relationship, there are certain boundaries that should never be crossed. Okay. And even, yes, lovers, for those, and I admit to it because I'm one myself, if you are a friend with benefits, it's the friendship that means the most to you. Because at the end of the day, if the sexual part doesn't work, the lover's part doesn't work, you don't want to lose a lifelong friend, somebody who gave you an alibi when you buried that body in the backyard, somebody who told your wife, nah, he was hanging out with me all night, and when you know damn well he was visiting his fuck buddy down the street. You don't want to lose a friend, because real friends, true friends who have your back, are harder to find than a good lover, okay? So you definitely want to be honest with yourself and with each other. Now, while I still got a little bit of time, I'm going to run into our naughty news, okay? So can I get that, guys? No, good. Let that run. Welcome back, lovers. This is the Nice and Naughty Hour. I'm your host, the Naughty Scribe. And we're going to wrap up with a little bit of our naughty news. So can I get that from you, lover? Yeah. Okay, lovers, so real quick before we leave for the evening, I just want to remind you, you just saw the clip, get those entries in for the rap contest. Remember, the best entries are going to be featured on the show. The winner is going to get a 5-hour block of recording time from Listen Vision Live. They're also going to be featured on this show. Their art, their work, the bio of themselves is going to be a main feature and topic on that Nice and Naughty episode. Also, the Naughty One is writing. Yes, you already know about Naughty Notions. It's on Google Play, Amazon, Kobo, the whole nine. So show us some love. You can get it. But the new book, Play the Piper, an erotic crime mystery set in the DC area, is going to drop early part of 2017. Also, I've been getting requests about the new website. We're having a little technical difficulty with it, but we do expect it to be up in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, that means we get back to our show codes, which means when you watch the show, there's going to be a discount code that shows up. And anyone that purchases anything from our Nyce and Naughtie boutique using that code will get a significant discount. And last but not least, we are starting next month. In a couple of weeks, we're going to get back into doing our famous black bag giveaway. And if you're new to the show, this is a literal black bag that is filled up with a lot of adult items to help you keep your romance hot and passionate. We give this away on a quarterly basis or whenever the fuck I feel like it. And I will tell you that since this one is going to wrap up around Valentine's Day, some of you asked, so I'm going to tell you, this item is not going to fit in a black bag. We're going to give away a dance pole. So yes, lovers. The next giveaway from the Nyce and Naughtie Hour is going to be a stripper or dance pole, however you want to phrase it. Absolutely free. We even the shipping, we send it out to you. So that's going to be a contest, though, that's going to start up next month. So remember, if you're in the mood for a stripper pole and you want a shot at one, tune into the show, okay? So that's going to do it for this episode of the Nyce and Naughtie Hour. Remember, lovers, life is nicer when it's naughty. Have a good one. Be safe and vote. Good night.